My name is Yuri, and I will be speaking about what works in outbound sales, how to make this process predictable, and scale it eventually. As a way to start, two sentences why I'm actually speaking here. I've been in SaaS world for 5 years, and I've been leading outbound sales team for 3 years. During my time at Woodpecker, I've scaled the results from the outbound outreach by 5 times, and our turnover from the outbound team is growing in the ratio of 10 to 15% every month. Uh, Along this journey, we made a lot of mistakes, did a lot of tests, and I'm going to present you here only the proven strategies and the frameworks that work best for us. I structured it in a way that after each strategy, there is an action on how you can implement it yourself in your company, obviously, if you want to. So let's start. Predictable sales is like a growth machine. We need to know the Y amount of input in order to produce the X amount of output. In our case, in the SaaS world, it's annual recurring revenue. And our challenge, the biggest challenge here, is to figure out what are those inputs that produce the right output. Um, well, we've started, as most companies, basically, this is the common practice in SaaS world, is started building the outbound outreach basing on the ideal customer profile. And this is what we exactly did. We've built the ideal customer profile and the buyer persona. We used the criteria as like industry, size, geography. We also questioned ourselves whom we need to contact and what we need to say to them. And only basing on that idea, the results were not as good. We were able to hit some quotas, but actually it couldn't be scaled as we wanted to. So we were rarely starting conversations with people who were interested in our solution and in our tool. There were different reasons why people ghosted us, but the one similarities we found among different members of our team is that with the ones who were interested and who were in the buyer window right now, the conversations were much, much easier. And that was a huge breakthrough for us when we've started to input in some more time to think about how we can contact those people who are in the buying window right now. Or another way to say it, who are looking for similar solutions like ours, or who wouldn't be opposed to having a look at such a tool. That was the biggest question. So how to find those leads? And that's the moment when we actually came up with the 4 different frameworks that helped us identify such leads. And this is what I'm going to base my presentation on, because this is the most important part of it. So the frameworks are the 4 different frameworks. This is basically just a criteria to think on how you can look for the leads. Let's start with the most obvious one and the easiest one to implement, the problems. So the thing that we had in common in the beginning, we were pitching too early and we were focusing on our tools, on our features, and well, obviously nobody cared in our outreach. And because actually we didn't really think in terms of the problems that the person we're contacting faces. And that was really the most important part for them. Thinking in terms of the problems and problem solving actually really helps to build the message that resonate with the person, and we will really be able to engage way easier, and we'll be able to start the conversations that matter obviously way more in this approach. So what we did, we started implementing some daily meetings in the beginnings and building and working around different problems that we actually solve. We started with the most easier ones, with the simple ones. And then as we had more and more meetings, the complexity of our problems that we actually can solve and the ones we came up with grew. So we went from saving time and money to more specific problems like VP of sales of a specific company or CEO of a web development company, the problems of war, like people over there. We were focusing on individuals, not on the companies itself, but on individuals more. But there were some also great ideas that actually bring really good results right now. And the example of it of such an idea of focusing more of an organization that rather than a person is when we started thinking in terms of problem solving, we also focus not on the problems that we can solve for our clients, but we can for what we can solve for the other companies that also work with our clients, because we're just a part of the process. We're delivering emails. Our solution is automating cold emails for our clients. So we're just a tool. We don't provide data. So obviously our clients need to have some data. So either they prospect themselves or they buy some data from the provider. And if they buy data from the provider of the like actually the company also faces some different problems, and their problem is similar like ours is churn. They want to make sure that the people come back and buy some lists from them, and but they don't control the whole process. So what we did, we get in touch with their companies, say, hey, let's do some partnership deals. We're just going to offer you an extended trial, and you can control the part of the process, and your customers can utilize more of your lists, and we have some more traffic. Also, we have some also trials. It works really well. It's just an example of how this framework can lead you to a thinking on a better way to build a process of acquiring new trials to your company. Just an example of ours. So an action for you to do: build a list of problems you solve and use this list to qualify the people whom you want to contact. And the important tip here is the leadership has to be involved. The leaders actually have to build this list. Not only don't delegate it to your reps, do it yourself, and also listen to your reps, update it based on the conversations, and we keep updating it, and we keep coming up with different use cases and the problems we can solve. Then let's move on to the signals. It's actually the best performer for us, because obviously we're talking here about figuring out the signals which can help us find leads who are in the buying window. And this is what this framework is all about. It's the hardest one to implement, yet it's the best one. It brings the best opportunities for us. And it's actually it's hard to implement, but then when you come up with it, it's easier to do the process overall. So the ideas here are really different. We know we all are in different businesses. Our clients are different. Thus, the signals will be different for us too. I'm just going to show you an ideas of what signals you can use yourself and what sources were to come from. And then you obviously schedule some meetings with your team yourself and figure out and think on what fits you, or maybe you'll be able to come up with a better even list. So the technology used. If you're aware of that, you can help certain people who are using the certain technology, let's say Microsoft Outlook, because you have a specific product that integrates well with it, then you can use websites like BuiltWith to find the list of data over there of that technology. Obviously, not all technology will be available there, but trust me, it's a lot of information there. So that's a pretty good signal. Role change could be also a signal. So if there is some VP of some company, a new hire coming to the company, that person might want to show an impact and bring some impact straight away, and to change some flows in their teams. And that's maybe also the opportunity for you to reach out and start some conversations over there. Funding for some companies, that also could be a signal. If you're an app developer and you know that some company has just been funded to build their app, here you go, you can go that. Crunchbase is a pretty good tool. There are some other good sources also that you can find some signals like that. Memberships. If somebody is a member of some community and actively engages over there, that's also a signal for you. So let's say our example, we are a cold emailing solution. And if somebody is a member of a cold emailing Facebook group, maybe that's an opportunity for us. It's way easier for us would be to reach out and start the conversation with that person, because there's a high probability that that person already uses some sort of automation tool. Comment section. In a lot of different comment sections, there can be left different signals like the problems that the person faces or their current workflows. You just have to find those conversations. And trust me, on LinkedIn, there are a lot of them. It's obviously not as easy to scale this, but you'll be able to cherry pick some good prospects over there. And mentions. If you want to build some partnership, like affiliate program, Go use Ahrefs, see who linked to your website. And if already a person has linked to your website, you can just say, hey, you already have the link. Why don't you monetize on it? Simple. So those are just an ideas of the signals that you can use yourself to build the process. And here is an example for how you can do it with the build with. So you choose some technology. The build with will provide you the list of the website addresses. Then you'll have to find some tool that will be able to find those email addresses on map, because you don't want to do that one by one. It's going to be time consuming. A tool, there are a lot of different tools. I'm just going to show you on any email finder. What you have to do is you have to put the founder. So you need to have the website, you need to have the position of the people who are you looking for. Go to any email finder, upload it over there, and it will provide you with the data. You can see here it's under the white field, a lot of those data. I've just blurred it slightly, so not to show it, but it's constantly gets you the data. So that's the signals. And the action for you here will be find a tool that can provide you with data. Look for the signals that work best for you, test them, and collect the data and see what the time goes, which ones perform the best. Now, the third one is oasis. It's basically we're looking for, like, there's oasis in the jungle where all animals come to drink water. It's pretty much the same here. Look for the places where your potential clients gather. There could be different places. Trust me, those could be online places and it could be offline places like physical spaces. It's just an idea of whom to contact. So here we're looking for ideas like comment section. So saying LinkedIn or Udemy or Amazon, a lot of different ideas there. You can go around there and check people who are using it from. We are in cold emailing. We're a cold emailing solution. A lot of different things like, we're going on Amazon looking for the ratings of the books but related to sales and cold emailing, or the cold emailing courses on Udemy. Groups, obviously, reviews. If you have some reviews on your tool, on the similar tools, or the competitors, you can check it out over there. And Reddit. Reddit is the hardest one because it's really hard to pull off the data from there, but you can plant some links over there. But be careful. Reddit is very strict with its algorithms. You have to really put some good thoughts into how to promote it. And if you'll be able to make sure that your message doesn't get blocked and you do it in a good way when you engage with the conversation, it's going to bring you some results. And let's go. The example here would be the way we use it. So how we can do a conversation. Actually, stop. I've skipped it. And there's another concept of leverage. It's pretty much the same, but instead of you doing the conversation where this oasis where the old clients gather, you speak with the one person and let that person do the conversation instead of you. So what I mean here is you establish some deals, some partnership deals that can be based on you either pay that person or you provide some beneficial deals like discounts or just better deals like extended trials, and let that person do the conversation for you. Example for us was the co-working spaces. There are a lot of young companies that are seeking to get in touch with the potential clients. So we've got in touch with the co-working spaces, like, hey, we're at such and such company. We can really support your community by just allowing them to have bigger trials for like a month for free and check it out if they can get in touch with some clients. Obviously, not all of the companies will make through from the co-workings, but actually we have some good clients over there. So that's a concept. That's how you can use it. And the action for you would be better off start a brainstorming meeting. We've started doing that on a daily basis. Then, as we got better and better, the ideas got really good. We've started doing that 3 times a week, and then only eventually ended up with the weekly reviews. But it was important to do it every day to like save this energy to start this process in order for us to go from those bad ideas to really cherry picking the best ones. So Those are the frameworks that you can use to find different people and look for the leads who are in the buying window right now. Then there is another part. We start that there's growth machine works like this in sales terms. We need to know whom we're reaching out to, and we need to figure out what to say to them. So there are different ways you can reach out to people. The most common ones that we used here are shown here, basically email, phone call, a LinkedIn message, or SMS. The best performer for us is email. It just feels safer. And the phone call, obviously, it's more for the scheduling meetings. It works also really well. LinkedIn is more for building relationship. It's taken some time there, but we also engage over LinkedIn. So um, how to get in touch with the person by email so this process can be later scaled, and for us actually to start some conversations. So your challenge here is to write a message, to write a short email that will resonate with the person and that will spark the interest. So your email should be a conversation starter, and you don't have to pitch straight away, because that's the mistake we made earlier on. Remember, nobody cares about your total service. Spark an interest, and what really sparks an interest the best is actually the personal information, something that feels personalized. And it can be personal information that could be related to the challenges or the problems that the person currently faces. It's a good actually idea to do a mix of both, of challenges with the company that the person's working for faces, with the personal challenges, and combine them both. It works really well. So this is the structure of our email. As you can see, it's just hi. The first name is the personalization field. Then there goes the first sentence. Actually, it's wholly personalized for a person. So this email could be read only by one person. It will make sense only to one person. And then we have our general text. The trick here is to make a smooth transition from your personalization to your general text. And what to do a personalization based on? Well, actually, you can do it a lot of different things, but I found those ones performing the best. So the best performing one is authored content. So if the person has written some articles, posts, did some webinars, shot some videos, and stuff like that, if you're able to mention that in this first line and in the subject line, and then smoothly transition to what you have to say, you'll probably get really good responses. And the same one goes with engaged comment, with engaged content. Uh, comment section is pretty good, and the share ones. With the liked, you probably, there's a lot of likes on LinkedIn or Facebook, but with the comment section, if somebody has engaged into comments and left some valuable information over there, you can say, hey, good point on that stuff. Bio, hobbies and interests work really well. You can really personalize the content over there. I'm going to show you an example of it, actually, how to do it. And exactly as I've said, the companies. You can also relate to the company's challenges. So, for example, somebody's hiring new roles, or some posts, or the mission. And I'm going to show you a few examples actually on how we personalize the messages. Those are the real messages. I've blurred all data. And this is the way we do it. So the subject line is fully personalized to that person. So what I found about that person is that person was planning to do 3,500 kilometers in a month on a bike. So my structure is pretty simple. This is the first sentence where you can see it's fully personalized. I've then even went on more because I've used some signal approaches that the person just changed the job, and the person joined as a sales leader of a team. And I just related my message of I'm smoothly like transition to what I had to say, and I got a response from that. I've started a positive conversation based from that email. And another example of that would be a different approach, basing. So here I was basing more on the research and what this person has posted. Here I'm basing more on the personal interests. So almost to say I'm smoothly transitioning from the personalization phase to what I have to say, and it really does wonders for us. So the action for you to do here is build your muscle for personalization. 2.5 minute rules really help. So you have 2.5 minutes for the research, 2.5 minutes for putting the insights together, 2.5 minutes to write email. That's, you will end up with the 7.5 minutes per lead, or in some case it will be shorter. That will lead you to approximately 8 emails per hour. And if you do the outreach, because nobody does outreach for 8 hours, if you do the outreach for 4 hours, let's say 3 hours, that you will end up with 24 or 32 emails. And trust me, those 24 or 32 emails will get you more positive responses than just blasting randomly 100 emails. It may sound easier, but it doesn't make any sense. And remember, don't pitch too early. This is the common problem we sales reps have. Constantly remind yourself about that. Then there's a question how to follow up and when to follow up. So the trick here is all about pattern interruption. We all receive those boring follow-ups like, just check it in. No, you don't check in. Your follow-ups, just be yourself. Do something silly here that will spark the interest. So I'm going to show you what follow-ups perform really well for me. So the follow-up number one is just thoughts. Any thoughts? That's it, because I've said it all. I didn't say it all in my first email. I've just said it there. I've just left it there, and I just want to start a conversation. And if somebody doesn't respond to my first email, I'm sending the sad face emoji, and it really works wonders. Trust me. I'm receiving from my second follow up. I'm receiving pretty similar amount to the responses that I get from my first email, basically, where I have all this personalization. It's just crazy. And also the quite interesting thing here is make sure you don't have your emails really well polished, because that's something weird about human psychology in this sense. When we have the emails which is really well polished, it feels like it was scripted, it was well prepared. But if you feel some kind of like human flaw in that, a simple mistake or something like that, it already brings some interest. And the test that I've run actually was pretty interesting. I've did this first follow up, this any thoughts. I've just left it without the question mark, and I've got 1.5, 2 times more responses than with the question mark. I don't know how to explain that, but that's just how it works. And that's also a tip for you. So action, how to do the follow-ups. It's all about pattern interruption. Do A/B tests, because those are my ideas. You might come up with a different ideas of how to do follow-ups. You can include some GIFs. You can do some videos over there. You can do some video prospecting. But the thing is that you probably have to use some tool in order to A/B test the follow-ups. And scaling the communication. How to scale this process, because obviously personalized communication is really hard to scale. So this is the way you can do it. The first, don't only focus on personalized outreach. It's really important, but it's taking a lot of time. What we did and what we are doing, we have some outreaches that we've did based on the problems that are slightly personalized, and we have it running all the time to all different people. It goes in the background while we are focusing on this personalized outreach. This is a good practice. So if you're focusing mostly on personalized outreach, you can either hire a person inside your team who will write such a first lines for you. You can either spread the responsibilities between the like junior responsibilities, because you don't want to your best reps who are really good in closing focusing their times on not revenue generating activities. Or you can either just hire a freelancer on Upwork. It's up to you. And be careful with the templated outreach, as I said. And there are a lot of let me put it this way. I really, in my time in out sales, I haven't seen that much of a good emails, templated emails online. Those more, I've really seen, I've seen really good approaches and how people do that, but those approaches were from them. It was their trick. So try to come up with your own structure that will really work best for you. And really good practice is to do weekly copy reviews. On those meetings, review the emails that you received, the performance rates of the follow-ups, the way your reps responded to the situations. Try to basically share the information with whole your team on, and let your people do the discussion over there. What could be done better? It's just constantly a better way of improving, because communication is such a vital part of this process. You want just to keep on improving that. And the same goes with the frameworks. Do weekly reviews over there. It's really going to just keep you on a good shape. And let's now put it all together. Let's start with how to be more effective. So the thing, what happened with us is we had to realize that our job is very hard, and prospecting really sucks. The prospecting sucked because we spent a lot of time of it, and we didn't have really good results, and it was demotivating. And as at the moment we realized that this is really hard, and the moment we realized that we want to contact people who are in the buying window, we want to double down on that time when we're looking for the people who are in the buying window right now. And the best way to do that is actually the 80-20 rule. So what I did for myself, I've gathered all the activities that I do personally as a sales guy and my team. So I've made the list of everything that we do, the way we get in touch with people, and then I've checked and analyzed based on the biggest deals that we've closed and where those trials come from. And I was able to find out the best sources for us. So that was the 80-20 rule. And then I was so excited that I even took it further a little bit, and I've applied the 80-20 rule to 80-20 rule itself. So I ended up something like this. If you do the math, it's like something like 4% of your outreach probably will produce you with 60 something percent of the results. So that was a really breakthrough. Me and my team was able to double down on the most important activities, and it really helped to boost the performance. So that's the first action. Make a list yourself, apply the 80-20 rule, because I mean, all of you probably have heard about the 80-20 rule, but rarely many people have really applied it to the businesses and also to their personal lives. And if you want to be really productive, if you're in really small teams, apply the 4% rule. So it's 80-20 rule to the 80-20 rule itself. So that's the first thing. And the other thing that really helped us be more productive is the time blocking, because now we know what we need to focus on. And me personally, in my role, I have a lot of different meetings, and the work that I'm doing can be interrupted, and I was not able to focus on really being efficient in that time. And this is what helped me being more efficient and actually in less time, because I was able to do the job that I was scheduled for the day in, say, like in 6 hours, in 5 hours, because of the time blocks. Yes, it could be challenging that people cannot reach out to you because you're blocked all of your social media, you block your Slack, email, you don't respond to the emails. But hey, it's really important to focus down on the revenue generating activities. The bottom line is your work is shown in that result. So the time blocking basically is that you already know what brings the best results for you. And now you just schedule some times in the calendars. Don't be interrupted. Treat it like you're in a meeting. You don't walk out of the meeting when somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, let's go and have some snack or smoke some cigar." No, you're in the meeting, finish your job, and then have some 15-minute break and go to another meeting. That's just an idea of how you can schedule the prospecting blocks and the time blocks for the different activities. But the truth is that you'll probably find yourself doing more work in less time. And the action, schedule this for yourself for the biggest revenue generating activities, and you'll just save yourself some time. Guys, this is it. This is my presentation. I hope it was valuable to you. The thing here that I want to also leave with you is that I know you'll probably have a lot of questions and how to implement such and such framework for yourself. If you have some questions and you want to converse, you want to basically talk more on some different topics, just DM me. I'm going to leave you with my email later on the Q&A section. So yeah, if you want guys to talk, let's connect by email. And now I'm open to your questions. All right. So, essential steps. So the first, actually, those essential steps that I've shown over there in the presentation is start off with the meetings, do daily kickoffs, find the signals that perform the best for you, because the process consists of leads and then the communication. So you have to find leads first, and then just start sending even poorly written emails, gather some data, because the teams that are starting up with the teams and the companies that are making 1 to 2 to 3 million ARR usually don't are not aware of all of their use cases that they have. So I would recommend just start off, gather some data, and then just do the reviews yourself. Those are the musts. Sending LinkedIn invites over the place. No, it doesn't work through emails. Emails work only if we are doing something that makes sense for the person. So LinkedIn is really for the connection and for the relationship building. A pitch on LinkedIn straight away doesn't work. You've just been treated as a spammer, or it only works in a case where you have something valuable to offer to the person, like when you really nail it. So either that you do like a partnership cooperation, or you do something really that the person has been thinking about, and you have to figure out firstly what the person has been thinking about. There are different tools that can help you with it. So yeah, those are my thoughts about it. And also make sure that the person is active on LinkedIn, because you can send the email or in mail, but the person is not active on LinkedIn, you cannot get a response for a week or two. Acquiring 10 first customers, do the job. Just do the job. Just put some time, put some work in. That's the problem that we had. We spent a lot of time on thinking, but actually when we just started doing and talking to people, doing the conversation, phone calls, email addresses, even making them poorly, we've learned in our mistakes. So just do the job and try to look for the signals as early as possible. If you're small, if you're just looking to build the first 10 customers, I guess you'll have to go the hard way and put in the work for the thinking about it. Later on, when you gather the data, make sure you keep on updating it, keep updating your ICP profile, keep updating the signals fields, do the reviews, and I think that will help you for you. What I look for salesperson when building a team. So the person, I look for a few different things. So the first, this is a hard job, so the person has to put some systematic work in. It's really good what the person has been involved into some activities and it has a good discipline. It doesn't mean it's only sport, but it just any kind of thing that requires systematic practice, because that builds your ability to make yourself working and put in the work when you don't basically want to. So this is what I look for the people. I'll also look for the people who are able to do healthy disagreements with me. So there are a lot of things and topics we won't be on the same page, and the person that I might be talking with has a better point. So I really look for the people like that, and look for the open people who will be learning, for the flexible people who will be adapting to the situations, and yeah, I guess those four are really the most important. Outbound sales tactics to avoid. Basically, don't send templated emails. Don't just blast emails. Don't send a lot of emails. There are a lot of things you can avoid. I've tried, actually, that was my, on this presentation, I've tried to focus on things that you should probably do, because there are so many things you should avoid. We've done it all. We've had lots of tests. Our team was we had one team. We didn't have results for quite some time. Then we've just hired and restructured another team because people were so demotivated. So I would say like this: focus on the things that really work and try to put them. The only way to do it for yourself is to test it. I've just given you the proper frameworks to try it out to start with. I'm sure you'll be able to come up with a better solution yourself, but don't rely on the gurus online because they are just showing you what worked for them. It doesn't mean that it will work for you. The beginner mistakes, obviously one is just looking for and listening for the people who are whatever saying online. But hey, I have rarely seen people online saying good thing about follow-ups and cold emails itself. As I told you in my presentation, they're good approaches, but those approaches were just like simple ideas of different people, the way they talk. And then just one thing they can take from them. So you'll basically your step will be just cherry picking a lot of different approaches from different people. Okay, moving a new lead. If somebody hasn't responded to 4, 5, 6 emails, think about leaving that person. Don't bother that person with a lot of follow-ups. If you're doing the really good job with your first email, if it does spark the interest, and then your second to third, maybe in third follow-up doesn't bring responses, you probably will be irritating person. That's my experience because I've been sending 10 follow-ups. The only what worked for me though, there's just a few situations where a person were actually was not noticing my emails, and then they responded. And those frowning faces, like the sad emojis, really bring the interest and make sure people want to come back to check out my responses. And actually, I mean, I don't know how it works, but it just brings results. Cultural differences. Yes, actually, I've noticed, and I don't know how to say right about this topic because we had different experiences. So the way I've tried to build my team, I've tried to put the most different people as I could. So we actually been our team first consisted of 4 different people from 3 different continents. So that was Africa, United States, and the Europe. The reason for that is that because we have all of those different approaches, different thinking perspectives, and we were able to come up with really good ideas. But I've seen things like the person from one continent was not really feeling really well and treated really well with different people and just didn't receive such response rates as a person from different continent. I don't know how to explain that, but I've noticed that. So what we did, we've tried to differentiate the things that people were focusing on, and it really made the difference for us. But it's really hard topic, and I'd rather be really careful on what I have to say about it. All right, guys. I guess no more questions. I've left my email in the chat, so if you have more questions or would like basically to talk about this framework approaches, the way you can build it, just shoot me an email over there. Yeah, and I hope it was really something valuable and you've learned something really good. The last question: commissions based on sales help? No, we don't have sales commissions. We just pay the flat salary. It feels safer. Outbound is hard. In SaaS world, outbound is hard. You might be not hitting the goals. Why just worry your team? Make sure just they put the daily work in and day out, and that's it. All right, guys. Thank you too for the presence, and I wish you good luck.